Hello everyone, welcome back to another exercise from Chapter 10 of our Managerial Accounting course, ACCT 428. In this video, we're going to be looking at exercise 10-3A, so let's read the exercise together. It says, Gail Trevino expects to receive a $500,000 cash benefit when she retires 5 years from today. Ms. Trevino's employer has offered an early retirement incentive by agreeing to pay her $325,000 today if she agrees to retire immediately. Ms. Trevino desires to earn a rate of return of 8%. So what's required here? A, assuming that the retirement benefits is the only consideration in making the retirement decision, should Ms. Trevino accept her employer's offer? So clearly, what do we want to do here? She is supposed to receive $500,000 in 5 years, but instead her employer is offering her to pay her $325,000 today if she retires immediately. So what we need to do to help Ms. Trevino here is to see what's the present value of this $500,000 today and then compare it to the offer that is made by her employer. Okay? So let's do that. Again, I'll just remind you quickly of our formula. Present value should equal the future value multiplied by the present value interest factor. And this is a single amount, so we're going to use the interest factor in table 1. Okay, and the inputs that we have, or we know that n equals 5 because it's 5 years, or the amount should be received 5 years from today, and r should equal 8% because the question told us that Ms. Trevino desires to earn a rate of return of 8%. Okay, so for the present value interest factor that we're going to be looking at in the table, we should have 5 and 8%. Okay, so let's refer to the table. Table number 1, right here. I have it ready. We're going to be searching at 5 years, 8%. So this is the present value interest factor that we need. So I'm going to copy it on my calculator for now. 0.680583. Okay. Go back to our question and substitute in our formula the future value, which is $500,000 in this case, multiplied by 0.680583. I already have the interest factor in my calculator, so I'll just multiply. Oops, I deleted that by mistake. Not a problem. 500,000 multiplied by 0.680583. The number I'm getting is 340,291.5. And again, the question, similarly to the previous question, is asking us to round our figures to the nearest whole dollar. So I'm going to round this to 340,292. Okay, so $340,000, 292. That is the present value of the $500,000, considering the timeline that we have, okay, which is 5 years, and considering that the required rate of return of Ms. Trevino is 8%. All right. So now what do? Now we take this amount and compare it to the offer, which is $325,000. Okay. Clearly, the present value of the $500,000 is $340,292, which is greater than the offer made by the employer. Thus, Miss Trevino, let me just remember how her name is spelled. Okay, Trevino should, in this case, of course, reject the offer. Now remember, Ms. Trevino is not considering anything other than the financial aspect, right? Assuming that the retirement benefits, this is what we were told in the question, assuming that the retirement benefits is the only consideration in making the retirement decision. Ms. Trevino might accept the offer due to other considerations, but that doesn't really concern us. What we are concerned with is that based on the financial aspect of this offer, would it be a good idea to accept? No, because the present value of that $500,000 is $340,292, which is larger or greater than the amount that the boss or the employer is offering, which is $325,000. Okay, there's over $15,000 difference there. Okay, so that's part A. Now let's read part B. It says, identify the factors that cause the present value of the retirement benefit to be less than $500,000. Okay, so this question is basically asking us, why do we have a time value of money concept? Okay, what makes $1 today worth more than $1 tomorrow? Okay, and that is simply summarized in three main factors. Okay, the interest earned, or we call the future interest. So let's call this number 1. Okay, amounts received in the future undertake or carry greater risk of maybe not collecting the full amount or even not collecting the money at all. So the risk factor, let's call it greater risk associated with future amounts or future cash inflows. And the third factor is inflation. Okay, so all of these are factors that affect or cause us to have this concept of time value of money that argues that any amount that is received currently or today carry a greater value than receiving the same amount at a future date, whether that was a year, 2 years, 10 years from now. It doesn't really matter. The longer the time period, the greater the discount that we're going to have, or the difference between the dollar that we receive today and the dollar that we receive in that future date. Okay, I hope this is clear, and I hope that you found this video useful. This is how you solve a similar question to exercise 10-3A. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down in the comments. And until I see you in the next exercise, take care.